Donald Trump still on trial. Brilliant strategy of falling asleep during the trial whenever he can, which is really they haven't really pushed that. They keep trying to pretend like he's not falling asleep on all the right-wing media, and it feels like they're missing an opportunity to say, like, he doesn't care.
Right. I mean, it actually kind of proves how unbothered he is if they want to spin it like that. To me, it proves that he just has very little...
Unconcerned.
Yeah, but he might be obviously a sociopath because how could he not even care at all?
Well, I think he does care, to be honest with you. I think it's just like, look, I certainly have, I've known people who respond to stress by falling asleep.
Right. Like those goats that tip over.
It's, in fact, I mean, in my own family, I've had that experience.
Yes.
Where the stress drove them to literally sleep in almost mid-conversation. I don't know that that's what he's doing. It also could just be that he's staying up all night, looking at, watching what Newsmax is doing at 3 a.m. But here is Donald Trump. This is yesterday outside of the court. Yesterday, he was threatened with jail time if he continues to violate the gag order. And again, the gag order is not, he can talk about, he can say racist things about Mexicans if that's what he feels like he wants to do. I mean, he's still going to be able to play all the great hits. Mm-hmm. He's just not allowed to threaten witnesses or
talk about the judge's
about the judge or the judge's kids or people in the courtroom. Just to sort of like, basic stuff. And here he is. He's such a gangster. Here he is outside the court.
And it's a disgrace. And then you have the other thing that maybe is even more disgraceful is the gag order, where I have to watch every word I tell you people. You ask me a question, a simple question, I'd like to give it, but I can't talk about it because this judge has given me a gag order and said you'll go to jail if you violate it. And frankly, you know what? Our Constitution is much more important than jail. It's not even close. I'll do that sacrifice any day. But what's happening here is a disgrace. The appellate courts ought to get involved. New York looks so bad. The New York system of so-called justice looks so bad between this judge in Engoron and Kaplan. You triple team with corrupt judges. It's a disgrace to our nation. So I should be out there campaigning. And they said, too, and the way I look at it, they're really talking about 3 weeks more. And by the way, they didn't even have enough to fill out the time. We got out early today because they didn't have another witness.
Well, they didn't really need one, but it seems like he may have violated the gag order in announcing that he had a gag order.
And then also tweeting about the judge again, or not tweeting, I'm sorry, truthing about the judge once again last night.
I mean, this is the thing, is that, from the perspective of the judge, can you really take into consideration that, and let's be clear, if Donald Trump was not the former president, or even more importantly, the future president, or a potentially future president, he'd be in jail right now.
Oh, yeah.
He would be in jail for the way that he's acting in this court. But the judge, I would imagine is very hesitant to put him in jail. But at one point, it's like the Constitution is important. And the idea of justice is important. Like, and if you wouldn't let some Joe off the street do this stuff, at one point you're going to have to be like, I got to put you in jail, chief.
Yeah. Could you ask yourself if you would feel confident in a situation where you're under legal scrutiny to say the jury is being stacked with people against you?
I'll tell you something. If I was assigned this as this case as a judge, I'd catch mono or something. I'd be like, I got my kids. I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of probably what the judge must be afraid of, right? This is how power can work in these instances where Trump has no qualms about setting his crazy supporters onto the judge or her family. That's been part of why he's been violating the gag order, just to flex in that way.
Here is Brian Kilmeade on Fox and Friends just talking about how great it must be to work for Donald Trump. Now, the number of people who left that administration, and to be fair, some of it was under a criminal indictment and scandal, but the number of people who have left Donald Trump's employ has been pretty high. And the number of people who work for him are saying they won't even vote for him. Never mind the number of people who worked for him who are testifying against him.
Or who worked for him before he was president, who he stole their wages, or who basically say that he screwed them out of deals and didn't go through with things. Like,
they're disloyal.
His hit rate for disgruntled former employees is extremely high.
But not in Kilmeadistan.
Exciting times. Hopefully, with a couple more weeks, we won't be bothering anymore. Thank you, Eric. Sean, just a quick thing to add, just noteworthy. How great must it be to work for Donald Trump? Whatever people say on the outside, you have Rana, who was there forever. Rana Graff. And then you have this COO say one of the hardest things I had to do was quit after 36 years because the court cases were coming up too fast and furious. You have Hope Hicks, who looks back at those days working for Trump and gets misty-eyed because she feels such a loyalty to him. You have a CFO sitting in Rikers Island for the second straight time because he refuses to make up lies about the guy he worked for and will go back and work for him again. So whatever you say about Trump and his organization, it's a big success, and he treated everybody there like family.
Pause it for 1 second. I don't know what trial that Kilmeade's working at, but the place where Hope Hicks got misty-eyed was in testifying against Trump, wasn't it?
Well, she did just testify, I guess. She had some emotional testimony at the criminal trial as his aide. So I'm not exactly sure why she was called to testify, but what people know her as is the person who testified in front of the January 6th committee to basically say, like, no, this was on purpose.
You know who else was a longtime employee of Donald Trump's? Michael Cohen, who is I think, pretty...
the lead witness for the prosecution.
Yes.
One of them, at least.
You know, if I go to Rikers because of my duties as a producer of the Majority Report...
You're welcome.
I mean, it was fun to work there for a while, but I'm kind of still hung up on the going to Rikers part.
You're welcome. You're doing that because I'm great to work for. I'm so great to work for that you're going to Rikers. Whereas if you were actually probably turned evidence on me, you'd go to Rikers for twice as long of a time. Yeah. And, whatever money you think that I'm going to pay you when you get out.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm at Rikers saying Sam was a great boss despite him getting me in Rikers, it's because he's paying for my defense still.
Oh, not just your defense. Matt, here's a map of money that's buried.
Think of it, okay?
Yes, go to Fort Greene Park. Go look for the third tree on the left. Dig.
It's not surprising that the Fox News crew gets pleasure out of seeing employees take abuse from their capitalist bosses, right? That's kind of the thing that they like, that fealty. This is their ideal employee situation that that Kilmeade's manufacturing.
I think Kilmeade should go work for the campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Go ahead, buddy. Take a little vacation.
I'd go to jail for him.
I mean,
that's basically what Kilmeade's saying.
Yep.
Put on your walking shoes.
Yeah, well, Donald Trump's going to go to jail. It's important. He doesn't care. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.